Hi everyone, we're going to talk today about data quality in Geotab thanks to Kiril Sukov that submitted Aspen GIS Lite to our Geotab Vibe Coding Hackathon. How are you doing, Kiril?
Hi everyone, I'm Kiril Sukov from Action Engine, and I'm in charge of project management and business development at Action Engine for Aspen, our platform, our data quality platform.
Let's talk about data quality because this is really, really important and we're working with data where we want to know the truth, but of course we are relying on sensors and we are relying on the real world and that gets messy. How can Aspen GIS Lite help us with that?
So, yeah, Aspen GIS Lite is our submission for the vibe coding competition. And what Aspen does is it takes the telemetry coming off of your Geotab GO devices and analyzes them. Now, what does that mean? It analyzes them and it's able to figure out how your devices, how your vehicles should be performing, what telemetry should be coming off your devices, and show you what's going wrong with your devices.
That sounds very ambitious and an ideal thing to have, but how do you even begin building this? How do you know, like, for example, I see in the screenshot here, there's some data quality, overall data quality for idleness, distance to road, teleportation, EV battery discharge, coolant temp, fuel consumption. But how are you able to give us a score for this?
Yeah, so these are some of the algorithms built into the Aspen GIS Lite. So what these algorithms are is there are different functions that run through and validate the data coming off of the Geotab GO devices. So each one of those is a separate algorithm that takes a different diagnostic variable and performs a specific function that allows it to show what is right and what is wrong in your vehicles.
Nice. So I would love a demo, but before we go there, tell me more about you and how did you uh, start this project? Why were you interested in building this?
The reason we built it is for people to know exactly where, when, and why issues are starting to happen with their vehicles. So what Aspen GIS Lite does is it knows exactly how your vehicle should be performing. It knows exactly the telemetry that should be coming off your devices. It knows how each device is supposed to act. Now, because it knows all this, it's able to showcase to you when the data coming from the vehicle is deviating and when it's not performing correctly. Now, what we'll get into in the demo is showcasing different checks and how you can actually see the specific segments or specific data points that aren't correct or that Aspen flags as warnings.
And how did you become interested in Geotab and in this hackathon?
We were interested in the first place on our roadmap. We had a list of integration partners that we wanted to kind of go for and integrate Aspen into these telemetry providers. And we saw Geotab was already on our list and had this awesome opportunity to not only already kind of start that integration, but to even showcase our idea, our product to people already in the Geotab ecosystem.
So let's go to the demo if you'd like to show me how it works.
Here we have this screen. On the left, we see these 6 different checks. We can look into each and every one. It tells us all the different validations, the metrics behind them. And on the right side, we have a fleet map preview. So this is all the vehicles with Geotab GO devices connecting that are sending their telemetry feeds into the Geotab platform. We could see different colors here. So green vehicles means that they're sending telemetry with absolutely no issues at all. Yellow vehicles means there's some warnings. So that could be something to potentially check out.
Yes, what's that orange vehicle about?
So on the bottom, we can see all the different vehicles that are connected and each of their corresponding scores related to each check. So we can go and look. We have some warnings for teleportation.
Can you explain to me what teleportation is? Is this a new way our vehicles can get faster to places?
That would be awesome. But what teleportation is it measures the rate of speed that your GPS is sending coordinates at. So it's measuring the distance between two different points. So for example, let's say your vehicle sent out a point 10 seconds ago, and now it's sent points right now. One was in Las Vegas and the other one was in Kentucky. And the difference between the time of getting between those points was only 10 seconds. Now, that would be a perfect example of teleportation.
Exactly, and this happens with GPS all the time. I open my phone and it jumps crazily between places. What you're doing here is you are detecting that kind of jumps.
Yeah, that's what the teleportation check is meant to do. I can show kind of the flow. Let's say I'm a user of Geotab and I even have this Aspen add-in now. So I would have this page. I would see when the data was synced, when it was validated, and on the top right, I would be able to actually sort by the corresponding check. So I can see which issues are coming up, so we can see the top 5 vehicles with issues. For distance to road, B18 is showing 81%. So maybe some of the points are showing potential warnings. So that could be something to check out. Distance to road is an interesting validation, and it measures where the GPS coordinate of the vehicle is related to that road. If that vehicle is showing a coordinate that is on a road, and if it isn't, then it's likely that there's some GPS drift because the vehicle is showing a location that's not on a road, for example, on a home or a building.
So distance to road might be okay if the vehicle is going off-road, for example, within a large lot or in mining.
There is a certain threshold that a vehicle needs to be moving at, a certain rate of speed for the check to even start. Because if the vehicle is moving at a low rate of speed, then yeah, it could be at a lot, it could be somewhere where it's completely normal, that's not on a road. For example, when it's moving at a high rate of speed, then this check would start.
Nice. And I can see that now we have one orange vehicle and one red.
Yeah, this vehicle potentially has some warnings that we can check out. I think we can do that right now. So once again, let's see, we can look at all the different checks.
Teleportation. That one. So the red
Teleportation.
one might be the one that jumped too quickly between two places.
Yeah, so we can look at that to go off of. But yeah, let's see, B18.
Wow, interesting. I see that you were loading a map of the roads, and now you have the different dots for where this vehicle was.
You can see when you get into the screen, different set of roads and the actual points that were validated off this vehicle. So for example, teleportation, we can see here that it's moving at like 120 kilometers. This is a warning because you can see when the rate of speed is very high, and you can see which points are most likely faulty, have errors.
Yes.
So it's notifying you that maybe this is a vehicle you should check out. Could be some issues. This road layer is exactly what Aspen is comparing the points to. So, for example, let's see this point. We can see that most likely the vehicle was driving on the highway based on its trajectory. However, this point is showing that it's like in the middle of these two segments, so not exactly on the road.
Yeah, clearly it's not driving in between the two roads.
On a bigger data set, of course, you'd want to set a higher threshold. Otherwise, you're going to get a lot of points that are not necessarily anomalies. But on this data set, we don't have very strict thresholds because we wanted to showcase the point of Aspen, showcase kind of how it works, some potential errors, right?
Yeah, I guess this specific demo database doesn't have like detailed data, but maybe in another demo database we could have more noisy fuel consumption.
Yeah,
Nice.
no, that's entirely the point. I definitely would recommend anyone
Mhm.
to try this out on their own demo data sets or potentially their real data sets and see if you could even find some very much cooler anomalies.
Yes. And once they
Right.
do this, how do they follow up? Because testing the project is pretty easy. They can just take it from GitHub. But how do they make this work at scale and make it work with you?
Yeah, there's two different options. The first option, if people are already using Geotab, they have all their vehicles loaded into Geotab, they're using this Geotab Go device, then I definitely recommend reaching out to us for this add-in to integrate it within their Geotab platform. We're also working with Geotab to get it on the marketplace, to get it fully integrated. A second option, if they want to run validations with very, very large data sets, they can try out Aspen, our in-house platform that has much more depth, much more types of checks, and can take a lot more resources and a lot more data.
Yes, we need to trust data, but also data is not always trustable, and having data quality is really, really important. Um, you also submitted a 3-minute video for as the submission. Anything that people should pay attention to in that video?
Yeah, specifically in the video, I would pay attention to kind of the use cases that I mentioned, the persona, the target persona using this platform. It would be a fleet manager, for example, let's say you're Sarah and you're a manager of 200 vehicles, and you want a way to quickly find what problems may be arising with your vehicles. You can use Aspen to actually look at what's going on with each one, or you can look at which top 5 vehicles are running into problems, having issues come up, all in this easy to use, customer friendly way.
So thank you so much, Kiril, for sharing this project with us, sharing the details, participating. What would you like people to remember from this conversation, and where can they go next?
I strongly encourage people to remember this important fact of Aspen is that you're able to find specific issues on specific segments of the road. So you're able to see errors or issues that are very, very in depth, that are very, very targeted, that other, for example, monitoring platforms might not be able to find.
Great. And where do they go next if they want to do more?
I strongly recommend reaching out to me on LinkedIn, Kiril Sukov, Action Engine, and say, hey, I watched your interview with Philippe. I thought this data quality idea was awesome. I'd love to learn more about Aspen. I'd love to learn more about the Aspen add-in and how can I try it out myself on my data.
Awesome. I want to see more data quality all over. Thank you so much, Kirill, and hopefully I'll see you on the road.
Great to see you too, Philippe.
Thank you.